Mac Stone here. It's summertime. It's tomato time. Let's look at some varieties. Let's talk about varieties, how you use them, and then we'll talk about ripeness and whatnot. So I'm going to start out with everybody's classic round red tomato. What you picture, a picture of summertime tomato. Has a high acid, has that strong tomato flavor. Personally, I gravitate to some of these purple and blacks. There's a black creme, a Cherokee Purple, and hundreds of others. So I suggest you don't get hung up on variety names. Look at the tomato itself. So here, this tomato, it has a slight little split in the skin from all the rain we had last week. That's not a problem. It's a superficial blemish in the skin. These heirloom tomatoes will always have this green shoulder. We use that as an indicator of ripeness. Sweeter in flavor, which is probably why I gravitate to them. There's also a Mr. Stripey. This is a nice heirloom tomato, has a little less of that green shoulder. Don't let these shapes and this core and whatnot worry about. Think about all that flavor that's inside there. Another nice sweet tomato for a BLT. Pinks, there's Pink Rose, Pink Girl. These are a nice heirloom tomato as well. These are the new variety. It's called a bumblebee variety. They come in different shapes and colors. These are nice little sweet cherry type tomato. Cut them in half for pastas or for a salad. A lot of people's personal favorite, Sungold. Nice little tomato. My nephew thought they were candy, literally, until he grew up and found out they were a vegetable. He still eats them like candy. Indigo Rose, a new one. When you look in the vines in the high tunnel here, you'll see they just look black. And when on the underside it starts turning that orange and red, then we know the ripeness is ready to pick. This little tomato, and they get bigger than this one. This was what was left after we made CSA shares. But this little green zebra, there's also one that has a redness to it. The zebra types, if you closed your eyes, you would swear you're eating a ripe red tomato. They're just awesome. Then we have the paste type tomatoes, the Roma San Marzanos. They're a meatier, they have less seed, so it's a classic sauce or paste type tomato. So look for those. We generally sell those in quantity because you want to buy a bunch of them to make your sauce or your pasta. Now let's talk about ripeness and evaluating the tomatoes when it's ready to eat. This Mr. Stripey is ready to eat in my opinion. It's still firm. The way you evaluate that is you place your palm and your fingers around the tomato, not even gripping it enough to pick it up, but you can feel under there the firmness of it. If it's hard, it feels more like a tennis ball or a cue ball. When it just gives just a little, when you can tell, then it's a nice ripe tomato. If it's overripe and it's mushy, then your hand is going to sink in under that skin a little bit. If that happens to you, you run up on one like ripened more than you thought overnight, eat it. It's still a great tomato. But please don't, at the market, please don't use your thumb. We often have trouble with large wedding rings poking the tomato on the one next to it. Then it's a nice, beautiful tomato now nobody wants to buy because it's been damaged. If you do grab it and you turn it over, you see the shoulder like, oh, what's that? These heirloom tomatoes have that green shoulder. That green shoulder moves up the tomato as it ripens. That little bit of blemish, that's just a skin split from the rainings that we had last week. Don't let little things like that discourage you from enjoying a really nice tomato. We're out here in the second planting of tomatoes. We usually do 3 plantings of tomatoes, actually 4 if you count the high tunnel. So we're assured of having tomatoes all through the season. These big, tall, beautiful plants loaded with fruit, certified organic. By not spraying chemicals to avoid an individual pest problem, we now have beneficial insects that take care of the pests for us. We do this trellis system where it's called the Florida weave. You just kind of weave the plants, hold them upright, makes it easy to pick. You still got lots of shade on the fruit so you don't have sunburn. But this is a typical production scale system of raising tomatoes. We'd love to see you come for a tour. Come check out our tomatoes for yourself.